Welcome to Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine. I'm your host, Jill Jardine, master's in counseling psychology, longtime astrologer, psychic, healer, and yogi. In this episode, my guest is Patrick Durkin, founder of the Wellness Enterprise and creator of the Aqua Energizer, the world's finest structured water device. He's also author of the book Flow. You're going to want to stay tuned to hear more of what Patrick has to share. Welcome to the episode featuring my guest, Patrick Durkin. Patrick is the founder of the Wellness Enterprise and creator of the Aqua Energizer structured water brand, which is the world's finest structured water device. And he's also an author of the book Flow, From Pure and Safe Water to Higher States of Consciousness. Patrick Durkin is a leading voice in the global movement to restore water to its natural, life-enhancing state. As the founder of the Wellness Enterprise and creator of the Aqua Energize structured water brand, he helps people worldwide experience the profound health benefits of drinking water as nature intended. Inspired by pioneers like Victor Schauberger and Dr. Gerald Pollack, Patrick understands that water is far more than a substance. It is a carrier of life force and consciousness. Through the Aqua Energizer, Patrick has made the benefits of structured water accessible. His work empowers individuals to achieve better hydration, increased energy, enhanced detoxification, and a deeper connection to their innate vitality, helping to awaken a global shift towards honoring water as the source of life. It is my honor and pleasure to have with me in the studio today, Patrick Durkin. Welcome, Patrick.
Thanks, Jill. It's great to be here with you.
So happy to have you here from Maui.
Yeah, it's been a long time we've known each other, 25 years on the South Shore of Boston and now 5 years apart. But here we are getting together again, and it's just magical to be with you always.
It's always magical to be with you, and you have been doing so much powerful planetary healing work in the meantime in those 25 years. And I'm so intrigued for you to share with my listeners more about your work with water, specifically structured water, and maybe even explain. Most people think, oh, water's water. But as we were talking off mic, there's the physical nature of water everybody thinks about, and then the energetic nature. And that's where you come in.
Yeah, it is. You know, when I started this business, I wanted to get rid of plastic bottles on Earth. And I got into the filter industry and I learned about purifying water. And there was just something missing. Like people would get a filter from me and they'd say, well, I feel good about it. But then I learned about the energy of water. And when I first learned about it, I was like, I don't want anything to do with that because the devices that change the energy of water, they're eternal. So there's no replacement parts. There's no maintenance. There's nothing for me as a businessman. And I was more concerned with myself than I was with other people. And so I backed away from it for a while. And God made it really clear. I could bang my head against the wall with water filters, or I could trust and I could learn about the energy of water and I would be supported. And so I turned toward the energy of water. And, you know, I remember the first time I started to open up the energy of water. I had gone to a workshop and my homework assignment was to talk to water when I went home. And I was like, come on, Hope, that was the leader. How am I going to talk to water? And I kind of forgot about it. And then I was going for a walk at Nantasket Beach and I was kind of in a mood, like trying to walk something out, you know? And I remembered, I'm supposed to talk to water. So I took this question that was on my heart and I turned toward the ocean. I was like, okay, what do I do? And this wave breaks at the far right and far left, and the break comes and meets in the middle. And the message was just so clear, like, you're supposed to take the middle ground, Patrick. And so I started to understand that there was another level of water, that there was a consciousness of water. And as I took all that background in chemistry and filters and started to understand water carries resonance, right? You know about Dr. Emoto's work?
Yes, but share maybe a little bit with my listeners who may not know. I mean, it is the cutting edge with the work on water's consciousness, but some of those titles would be good to share.
Yeah, so Dr. Emoto wrote the book, The Hidden Messages in Water, as a New York Times bestseller. And what he did was he would take water and he would create a resonance. Like he would tape the word love on the bottle. A lot of people put put words on their bottles now,
Right.
having learned that from Emoto. And then he would freeze the water. And if you put love on it, the crystal that came out was gorgeous. And then if you put hate on it, it came out all disjointed. And so he began to open us up to the idea that water carries a resonance. And
Yes.
his work has been advanced by a woman named Veda Austin. And she's like the darling of the water world these days. She's just adorable and curious and playful. And so what Veda Austin does is, like, an example would be, she's sitting at a cafe and she sees a dog drinking out of the water bowl that's there. She says, I wonder what that would look like. And she takes a drop of the water home, she freezes it, she pulls it out of the freezer, and in the water is a schnauzer. There's the animal in the water, in the ice crystal. So she takes a sunflower seed and she puts it in, and in the water is a sunflower, not the seed, the flower itself.
So that's when it's been frozen, it shows up. That's wild.
And so she's more than just like saying water reflects us or something. She's actually showing that water communicates with us and has a message for us. And so she's very playful with her story. So, we've learned through these type of scientists that water is alive.
Right.
But we've also learned that there are other properties of the water that are not commonly told. Like, you know homeopathics, right?
Right. I studied it in the 90s when nobody knew in the U.S. much about it. Yeah.
Right? And the way a homeopathic is created is that a physical substance is put in water and then it's shaken and diluted. And that's repeated. And once you dilute it 26 times, the original physical substance is gone. It's undetectable by modern methods. And yet, the energy of it is still there.
Right.
And so what we've learned from scientists like Dr. Ludwig and Jacques Benveniste is that the energetics of things stay in water regardless of whether you filter them or not. So we have a whole culture out there that's going around going, I need safe water. Safe water equals purity.
Right.
And they filter out 90%, 98%, 99%, 100% of something, but they always leave the energetic signature. So the question becomes, how do I pattern the energetic signature in a way that actually serves me, right? So prior to starting this recording, you shared some Sanskrit mantras, right?
Yes.
And why did you do that?
Because of vibration and resonance and frequency.
So you created a resonance in this room for us to have this discussion. Well, that's what you can do with water, but you can do it all the time. So a lot of us go through moods and we're not mindful all the time. And, we're just living our life trying to, we don't have time to sit and pray or do mantras every time we go to do something.
Right.
So you get an Aqua Energizer and it carries the resonance of nature. It is natural. It is, you can feel the difference when you put water in and feel water come out the other side. Instead of noticing the difference with taste, you notice it with feel. And so you feel the difference in a room when you do the mantra. You feel the difference in your water when you structure it with something that's natural.
Okay, so let's segue to that. Structured water and the Aqua Energizer, which is the device that you have created. And I knew you back when you had a bunch of other devices you were working with, but you said that you have found the ultimate device, or you've created the ultimate from all the work you've done with other water devices. So let's go and talk about structured water and the Aqua Energizer.
Yeah, so I call myself a reluctant inventor. Right? I didn't want to invent this. Other people had inventions before me, but like, for example, I founded the company to get rid of plastic water bottles, and I was selling a plastic device. And people would say, how do you deal with that contradiction? And I would say, it's the best device I know of on earth at this moment. So that's what I represent. And then a better device would come along and be made out of copper and crystals and minerals. And I'm like, okay, well, that's better. But the guy who's making them is completely unaware of the influence of his personal issues on his manufacturing. And so
wow.
it's like, we're only as conscious as we are. And
yes.
So this guy is a genius inventor, but he's also really unaware in some areas of life. And so eventually I was always willing to trade in the technology I had now if I could get a better effect in my clients' lives. That's how I know. Like, I'm
so upgrading for
always.
them.
Yeah,
basically.
so I'm a hands-on CEO. I love talking about water. So people call the wellness enterprise and I answer the phone and I talk to them about water. And then I store them in my cell phone. And then they come back around and they're like, you probably don't remember me. I'm like, oh, no, I remember you. And I talk to them about what's going on in their lives and they teach me what's happening. And so people get more energy. They actually feel like the water they drink fulfills what they're looking for, like they get satisfied, and they start to have changes in consciousness. So over the years, I kept finding the opportunity to upgrade, and you would love this, Jill, it's like clarifying the water in my body and around myself. Like I'd get up against an issue that I didn't understand, and I'd be stressing myself out all in my head, and it'd be like bedtime, and I would say, okay, water, I know there's a path through this. I have no idea where it is. I'm going to give it to you, and I'm going to sleep. And so whatever it is that I'm supposed to understand, just show me in the morning. And I'll know that's the inspiration coming from you. And I wake up in the morning all clear and energized about the idea. Same type of, yeah.
Wow. So what I'm hearing you say, Patrick, is that water is consciousness. And it sounds like it's basically God consciousness to some extent as well. I don't know if you want to elaborate on that.
I'll elaborate on that. I'm going to pick that one up. So by measure, like people always talk about what volume of my body is water.
Right.
And they'll say like 70%, 80%. I think I have a little bit more accurate number there, which is you're born like 95% water.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And then as you get older, like look at our old people. Like if you live to a really ripe old age,
you get brittle.
You look like a prune and you're like 50% water, right? So you can see the difference between like really plump and really prune. But by count, because water molecules are so small, 99% of your molecules are water molecules. We are bags of water.
Yeah.
We are fully bags of water. And I believe that evolution is a process as water has the blueprint for life. Dr. Luc Montagnier did some work with water and DNA. And what he showed was that through shining an electromagnetic force into water, he could recreate a DNA from the information in the water. So nothing physically there, but the information could be carried by it. So I'm suggesting that the blueprint for life is held in water. And so what is more godlike than a substance that never gets upset, always sheds its trauma, right? If you take a water drop and put it on your countertop and watch it, it will stay out of oneness for a couple of minutes, a half hour, and then it will evaporate and just rejoin. If you take water down to the water plant and you fill it with chlorine and then you push it out through the long straight pipes and you tell it like carry this poison gas, as soon as it gets air, it says, oh, I'm free again. Here, let me give you your gas back. I don't need it. That's why we smell chlorine. It's a gas and the water's saying, hey, I carried it for you, but now you gave me air, and with air I can release it. So I think water is very godlike, and I attempt to like emulate that, right? So my book is called Flow. Like, what do I want to do with life? I want to flow, yeah. Right? And so I'm blessed to live on Maui now, and
surrounded by water.
I'm surrounded by water, and there's some extraordinary streams. There's one place called the Iao Valley. It rains 500 inches a year up at the top, and then it comes down. And one of the things I say is I can take a mood into the Iao Valley, but I can't bring it back out because the water is so uplifting that it cleans me, right? It's so life-supporting that my moods change always toward harmony when I go in.
So, I mean, that's where go with the flow. That comes from, I mean, what do we know that flows? Water. There's other substances too, like maybe gel or something, but go with the flow. And so in your book, what is the thesis, or what are you talking about?
Yeah, well, I mean, what I want to do is I want to help people where they are. So
Yes.
The first part of the book is about pure and safe water. So the standard that we've been taught is to chase purity and to
Right.
make the water safe. And the way you do that is by filtering, which is a process of removal. So I'm kind of philosophical, and I like the deep cut at things. And I'm thinking now, if I remove something from water, where would it go if everything's one thing? Like where's over there anyway? Like
Yes.
like just philosophically,
Yeah.
there's no place to go. So I try to help people understand that filtration is a tool of the modern culture that reduces the concentration of toxins. That's what it does.
Okay.
But that's just like a little part of the story. The big part of the story is that water is what you think in. It's what you digest in and with. It's how you connect to the unseen. It's how you summon infinite creativity. So back to learning at Nantucket.
How we gestate in water, in a fluid sac.
Everything in water, Jill.
Right.
Everything, even in the air. Like, we don't see it with our eyes, so we don't think it's real, but the air is filled with hydrogen and oxygen. And hydrogen and oxygen are constantly bonding and rebonding with each other. They're not fixed. They're changing all the time. So another lesson from Nantasket Beach, I'd be in a mood again. I had a lot of moods a while back. Like,
I guess that's what happens when you're a Libra, right? Up and down.
I think my life lesson has a lot to do with emotional authenticity. And so I've been given my share of things to go through.
Right.
And one of the tools that I learned was that I could go down to Nantasket and put my feet in the edges of the ocean, no matter which season it was. It'd be pretty cold down there. And then I would do long tones, right? So I would balance my chakras doing long tones. And when I first started doing it, I didn't have any belief or expectations about what would happen. But inevitably, my mood would shift. And I would be like excited and inspired, and I was like running up the hill to my house to like go type out my new ideas. And then over time, I realized I could just chill out because that flow is infinite. And so
Right.
I just come back into center, saunter up the hill, and then, start working from that place.
That's amazing. Hey, Cosmic Scene listeners, Jill Jardine here, and I've got something out of this world to share with you. Introducing the Cosmic Tower, a revolutionary energy harmonizing device designed to uplift your space, restore vitality, and bring coherence to your life. It's like plugging into the cosmos right from your living room. These towers are transforming homes, clearing EMFs, and awakening higher frequencies. And now you can experience it for yourself. I recently received my very own Cosmic Tower, and the experience has been truly magical. I've been feeling drained from work with physical pain flaring up, but within 2 hours of setting up the tower, my energy returned, my spirit lifted, and I felt ready for life again. I am so excited to be living with the Cosmic Tower and want you to learn more about it too. So check out thewellnessenterprise.com and tap into the frequency of the future. And guess what? If you use the code COSMIC10, that's capital COSMIC, all capitals, 10, COSMIC10 at checkout for 10% off your own Cosmic Tower. I want to get back to something that you were talking about in your book so most people think that the water is better if it's filtered and that it gets stuff out of it, that could be toxic. What is the way to structure water? Like we talked about this off mic, that beyond the filtration, what can a normal person do to enhance their water? Let's say with or without filtration, what can they do? What would be the method?
Yeah, so I think the important thing to do with this conversation is to flip the paradigm and realize that the energetics of water are the first question.
Okay.
And that the chemistry-based filter is the second question. So the chemistry-based filter is optional. If your values and your beliefs suggest that water tastes better, it smells better, and you feel better mentally from having a filter, have it. But don't think that's the first question. That's just the accent. The important part is, what are you doing to structure your water? Structure, order, add coherence to your water. So most people on this planet right now are making a structuring choice without knowing it. And so their structuring choice is 5G. They're getting the radiation, the scalar waves that are going through the world. That's their structuring technology because they don't know any better.
And that's what's dominant on the planet, whether people realize it or not.
That's everybody, right? There's a tiny little niche that knows about structured water so far. So that's what this opportunity is, to have this conversation. Be like, if you're not making a choice, then the unconscious choice is the pollution of this current society that we're in. So now people might, people want to always find a low-cost solution, and then some people with a budget want to go do more.
Right.
So the low-cost solution is to be mindful and prayerful with your water. So Jill picks up her bottle and holds it to her heart. How beautiful. Yeah, but it really is just that, Jill. It's honoring water. And so our intent as powerful human creators really does matter. And if one can separate themselves to the aspects of self that are more aligned and clear and really bring that intention of honoring their water, and that it will, hydrate them and that it will connect them to all that is through the water molecule, that is a perfect place to start. But there's a whole spectrum there. So you might, as another thing, take a heart rock you find at the beach and put that next to your water bottle, or put a crystal in your water bottle, or use magnets. Anything that's doing energetics, you're moving on the right spectrum. Now, what I've found in 13 years of immersing my whole life in this is that there's been an evolution so that my sensitivity is much higher now. And in that, I've been guided to understand that I could actually offer the world a product that carries the resonance of love and unity. That's what my life is about. Like, I had a stage in my life where it wasn't about that, but fortunately there's been a lot of healing. And so now the device we make is made with really high-grade copper. We specifically and intentionally source our crystals from Brazil, and then we create a coating around the outside that's made from 90 trace minerals. And the water pours through the center of our device in a vortex, which opens the water molecules to receive information. And the information it receives is patterned by the sacred geometry and the minerals that are on the device itself. And so when it comes out the other side, it feels softer and wetter.
Wow. And that's the Aqua Energizer. And this would be a good time to share your website so
Sure.
people can find out how to order an Aqua Energizer.
Sure. Well, we call ourselves the Wellness Enterprise. So the URL is 3 words together, thewellnessenterprise.com. And we are also the home of the Cosmic Tower.
Woohoo! We have one right here in the studio that's structuring the water for us as we speak as well. And I did want to segue to the Cosmic Tower and how it structures water and the whole toroidal geometry. And I'm just kind of chuckling to myself because we've come a long way from those water bottles with the crystals in them. Remember?
Yeah.
I had the gem water bottles. I was selling those and people love those. But now it's evolving and it's becoming more refined.
Yeah. It's been about 10 years since we started telling people about what was then the current best innovation for structuring your water. And now
It was gem bottles, right?
it was it's Vita gem water bottles. And you know,
Right.
we helped a lot of people become aware
Yes.
of those. And then we had the vortexing devices, which is what the Aqua Energizer is an advancement of. And then in comes this Cosmic Tower.
A mothership
Right?
lands.
And the Cosmic Tower contains water from springs in Europe. There were over 600 springs analyzed, and then 2 of them were married together to create a rainbow water or a full spectrum water.
Beautiful.
So when the tower uses its sacred geometry, its crystals, and its water to spin information, what it's spinning is rainbow water in a toroidal field, which is how nature spins energy. It's the pattern of energy flow around Jill, around your new kitty, around the earth, around a tree, right? All of it. It moves in a toroidal field. So the vortex that is the Aqua Energizer, that is, in a sacred geometry perspective, the center of the toroidal field.
Wow.
Yeah, so, the Cosmic Tower is used to harmonize spaces, and the Aqua Energizer specifically to harmonize water. So a combination that a lot of people choose is they get the Cosmic Tower for their home, and then they have a handheld Aqua Energizer to more intensely, physically, something they can touch, put their intention into, structure their water. But also when they leave home, the Aqua Energizer made from copper is a lot easier than a
Cosmic Tower
with the
carry
glass
around.
and the water inside.
Right. So we've come from the days of Emoto writing love and putting it under the glass of the water to having something that will do it for you based on physics, quantum physics, sacred geometry, which comes from Sirius. And we are recording this during the Lionsgate window, which I think is great. And the other technologies like the minerals and the other pieces that come together. I think that's quite genius. So did that come to you in a meditation with your feet in the water or in a sacred spring there in Maui?
I would say it's just been one inspiration at a time. And, it's just an evolving thing. Like I could never imagine that I could be 13 years into learning about water every day, but it's infinite. And so I just keep going in the same direction. And so, I think our scientists come along and our inventors come along and they put things in front of us as water. I kind of look at it like water allows us to understand it at a different level with each passing thing. Like this whole industry of structured water started with Victor Schauberger like 100 and something years ago, 110 or 120 years ago. It's pretty recent. And it was really quiet for a long time. And then when Gerald Pollack released his book in 2013 called The Fourth Phase of Water, it was like, the head of the bioengineering department at the University of Washington is publishing this book, and he's saying water is not just liquid and ice and steam, but that there's a fourth phase. It's a different phase, and that water can be ordered or made coherent. It can carry a resonance. And that's what this fourth phase is. Fourth phase water acts like a battery, and it can hold and release energy. And so how do we revive tired, anxious, uncomfortable human beings? We put living water back into them. We carry the resonance of nature back into people, and people start to come back to life.
That's beautiful. I have a question. So we talked about water taking it in, but what about immersing yourself? Like for one thing, like let's say it's the ocean, that probably is naturally structured. But what about like in a chlorine pool or in a bathtub or in a flotation tank? Is there something you can do? Like you speak to the water as you did, or is there something where you can invoke that the water is going to bring me the healing I need? So we talked about taking it in, but what about immersion in water?
Yeah. So, just today I was texting with somebody who just got her Aqua Energizer, and she's a light grid worker. And she said she's been called immediately to begin structuring rivers and streams with her device.
Beautiful.
And so she's so excited to be embarking on that. So there is a combination between taking a physical tool with human intent to expand love and unity and meeting nature with it and actually assisting nature. But, that walk by the ocean and that constantly moving water, like that's the best. Now, one of the things I learned from one of my clients is she had chlorine dry skin issues for years and years and years. And she would go to this like 70-meter pool in Maui. And she said after she got a device from me, she would hold it up to the little jet that comes out on the side of the pool, just the small ones in a swimming pool.
Yeah.
And she would just hold the funnel end to it for like a minute. And then she experienced that a whole 70-meter pool changed just from her actions for a very, very short time. And so we have a profound ability to affect large amounts of water much more quickly than we can imagine. It's not like filtration, which is using chemistry, and you could have to pour all 70 meters worth of water through a filter. It's not like that. It's like you create the resonance instantly. Just like going back to the beginning of the show, when you did your mantras, like I could feel a difference in the room. And it wasn't like one part of the room got it later than another part of the room. It's just the whole space changes.
Right.
Water changes that way. So you can really easily hook up to plumbing if you have your own pool or your own hot tub or that kind of thing. You can hook an Aqua Energizer up because we have attachments for all the different things. Or you can bring the device into it, a public one, just for a short period of time. And if that's not accessible to you or that's not the choice that you make, that doesn't mean you can't be on the spectrum of creating harmony. So bring your prayers, bring a favorite crystal, bring sacred geometry, whatever it is that's the best that your being can do to interact in a high vibration way with water, then that's good enough.
So it sounds like what we say in Sanskrit, sankalpa, intention. Intention goes a long way with water.
I think it really is like the major part of the show, Jill.
All right. So before we go, Patrick, I want to know if there's anything else that you want to share, and it's kind of your free form time in which you're really good. I mean, you did a great job with what you shared, but I feel like you still have a message for people, and I'm just waiting to hear what that is, because I think it's going to come from your heart. And please do share.
Yeah, that's exactly where it will come from. I've lived so much of my life in my head and been conditioned to achieve in this world. And, I remember when I gave myself a Porsche for my birthday, and I remember how much fear I had in my being. I was terrorized.
Yeah, I remember you when you were a successful financial investment dude, and you did a whole 180 from that on your trajectory and your path because you followed your heart.
I did. I followed my heart. And so I believe that each one of us is a piece of a jigsaw puzzle for an extraordinarily harmonized, loving, joyful life. And that the best thing I can do in painting and cutting my piece to be the way it was intended to be is that I can give people a message to consider that a relationship between living water and themselves will lead them to know their piece more deeply. So a lot of us are conditioned by this culture, and we get trapped in the noise and the to-dos and the fatigue, and it's just like there's not enough of us to go around to meet all the demands of this culture. And I want to just strip the layers away and just take them back to filling their heart with living water. So it doesn't matter whether you get one of my devices or you get some crystals or you go to nature, but the important thing is that you carry the intent that you be living water, and that living water show you the blueprint for your life. That's the place to go and get it. So start structuring your vacations for waterfalls or going to the ocean, and just touch that living water and just invite it to inhabit you and to guide you to where you're going. Because ultimately, we're just a piece of the puzzle, but water is everything, and the water will take you there.
And you just came back from a vacation out of spring.
I did, and I shut my phone off for 6 days.
I know.
That's unbelievable. And, it's having some reverberations as I come back, because I'm realizing the ways that I still stay addicted in this culture to knowing a bunch of things that I don't actually need to know anymore. I just love to talk to people about water. And so I had a little meeting with my son who runs the company with me earlier today, and I was like, I want to change where my to-do list comes from. And I want to make agreements with you on what it is that I do. And we will just have me talking to people about water.
That's fabulous. Shout out to James at the Wellness Enterprise for his role. He's an amazing, amazing part of the business. And he's a really good person to connect with when you have to do business with the Wellness Enterprise. He's so efficient.
Yep, that's my now 23-year-old boy he's just taking over running everything. I don't need to know anything like I used to, because he knows everything.
That generation, they got it going on.
Yeah.
So he's a good example of that. So Patrick, this has been so much fun having you in the studio talking about water, structured water, your book, the Aqua Energizer, our friend the Cosmic Tower, and so much more. So thank you for stopping by on your East Coast tour.
Oh, it's such a pleasure, Jill. And thank you for all you do to teach people other ways of thinking about life and showing them how they can feel good and discover more about who they are and how we can live naturally. It's amazing what you do. And I've been following you for a long time, and I'm deeply appreciative.
Oh, thank you, Patrick. Thank you for being our guest. I hope you enjoyed this episode featuring my guest, Patrick Durkin. Remember to share this episode, subscribe to Cosmic Scene, download, and give us a 5-star review. Sending healing aqua currents through the quantum field.